Boone, the Angel Encourager. I'm knowing that everyone is doing excellent. I'm so excited to come to you tonight. I'm just going to do a little bit of a teaching on a new archangel that has come forth to me, and I really just totes love this guy, Archangel Nathaniel. Archangel Nathaniel is really sort of a kind of a step up archangel, and what I mean by that is that he's I'm just going to say hi, Isabel. He is not. The title of this is He's Not Your Mama's Angel, and what I mean by that is if you want movement, if you want change, if you're ready, hello Isabel. If you want change, Archangel Nathaniel is your guy. Now, the change can be rather abrupt because the archangel, you have to realize that archangels, they know where we are, they know who we are, we love us, but they also know it's possible, and they're ready for change, and they're not in our space-time continuum. So when they hear us say, I'm ready for change, they're like, boom, and you change. So Archangel Nathaniel, he's very much about movement. He's very much about getting you out of that space. He's very much about abrupt changes. So that's why I say he's not your mama's angel. And sometimes you have to kind of gear yourself up to Archangel Nathaniel because he is one wild ride. When I think of Archangel Nathaniel, I always sense this sort of like a yellowish gold, very rich color. I always see archangels usually with like a swirl of color that generally envelops me and those others that I send him to. So I'm not necessarily going to call him forth for everyone because you need to make sure that you're ready for Archangel Nathaniel, because I'm telling you, he's coming into my life and things are starting to move fast, and it can be kind of a jinky ride a little bit, because the first, like I think even Oprah has said, you cannot take in the new with your hands if your hands are clasped around something else. So the first thing that has to happen is your hands have to be empty of whatever that old energy is that you're holding. Because once you release that old energy and let it go back out and let it recycle back into new energy for you, then you can receive new energy. But the thing of it is, your ego likes to hold on to that old energy because that's how the ego knows you. That's your whole structure system. So it can be rather something to let go of something, even if it's something that you want to let go of, because that's how you identify yourself. I am this person. I am this person that drives this car, even if it's a terrible car, and I'm this person that lives in this terrible house, or lives with this this has this terrible relationship, or has this health problem, or never has enough money, or whatever it is. And believe it or not, you have identified that way, and that is part of your structure. So that's the first part of change, is to actually let go of those structures that you want to let go of. And believe it or not, it can be a little harsh at times. So like I say, don't call forth Archangel Nathaniel unless you're ready for him to actually start moving you on the change. So he's very much about you calling forth what it is you want, and be ready to, and I think of it as almost like this doorway ringed with fire that you step through, and it's sort of like burns off that fear, and it's walking through that fear to the other side and becoming that new person on that other side. I mean, just think of it as sort of like if you were terrified of jumping out of an airplane, which I'm one, and I have not done it yet, but I know it probably is coming up, but you're going to be a different person when you land on the earth than you were when you went up in that plane. And that's exactly what it is when you walk through that doorway of fear. You are a different person. You are a different being on the other side. And that's what you will be with Archangel Nathaniel. But, just like jumping out of an airplane, it can be rather of a volatile, trip down there. So if you're ready for change, if you're ready for movement, if you're ready for transition, if you're tired of the old, you're ready for some new energy, which, keep that in mind, is it's perfectly natural for you to want the new, because we are all energy beings, and energy is constantly in movement. Energy is constantly changing into something new. So when we try to keep things the same, that's the most unnatural thing. Even in our relationships, of course, we can stay in relationships lifelong, but they need to change as time goes by. They need to become new things and have new energy come in, even in old relationships and things you want. Even like with your home, you don't keep it the same color all the time. You repaint it. You buy new furniture, whatever it is in your life. It's about constant change and update. Even if it's the same thing, you're constantly changing it and moving it. So that's the same with Archangel Nathaniel. He wants you to know that he is calling you forth. He knows who you are. He's ready to take you through that fire, that doorway of flame, as I think of it, into the other side, to become that new being that you really know that you are. and that you want to become. But just be ready for the ride. So I will do other videos on perhaps archangels you want to start out with, because he can be rather he can be rather of a wild ride. Because at first, like I say, he's going to ask you to let go of those things that no longer serve you, and some of them you may not even know. It's really quite interesting when you find out the things that you've been holding on to that you didn't even know that you were holding on to, that have really, held you back. He can also help you. A lot of times, we know we want to have change, but maybe we don't even know what that change is. Well, we have been allotting, through our lifetime, and even in times before, we have been putting like this little bank the different things that we want to change, the way that we want life to be. So the angels know it is the perfect mix for us and what's going to actually, make us happy. They have this, the upper above us view. They have like a fifth dimensional view of us. And so they can see not only us, they can see all the opportunities that are before us. They can see all the things that we really desire, and they can just instantly, miraculously, link those things up to where we can go down the path towards what we're happiest of. But just remember that sometimes the archangels will take us down, will take us through a neighborhood that we want to judge because it's not where we want to go. Just realize that that's just part of your path. It's making you become the new person so that you can step into who you want to be. Because sometimes, you have to become, well, it's just kind of like dressing for success. If you want to get an executive job, you don't come in there, in wearing shorts and a natty t-shirt. You dress, very nicely in a suit or whatever. Even if you're not an executive now, that's how you dress for the interview, because that's who you want to become. It's the same thing with life. The archangels will call you forth to become the new creature that you wish to be before you get there. And sometimes that means you have to go through neighborhoods that you may not totally enjoy, but just always rest in the fact that you are on that perfect angelic journey. I want you to step into joy every moment that you can, or at least the highest feeling that you can. I want you to take the inspired actions that you get. And inspired actions, what does that mean? Inspired actions are things that may not necessarily be in your human brain on the path of where you want to be, but they just kind of excite you, or they're kind of like, wouldn't it be cool if? And it can be something completely off of what you would think would be the path, and that may be exactly on the path. And then I want you to walk in faith. So it's stepping into joy, taking inspired action, and walking in faith. And then you will be on the angelic path towards your highest good. And that's what I want for all of you. Love, peace, release. Check me out at facebook.com, The Angel Encourager, or www.petecossaboon.com. That's PETECOSSABOON.com. Bye.